At the far edge of the city stood an old apartment building, weary and worn. Its tall silhouette loomed like a forgotten sentinel, the paint peeling away like the memories of the tenants who had once called it home. The windows rattled restlessly in the wind, echoing the stories of those who had come and gone, their footsteps fading into whispers on the cracked pavement below. People passed by daily, their eyes skimming over its surface, knowing instinctively that something lingered within, something that made them hurry past, a silent agreement among strangers to keep their distance. And yet, within the building, there was apartment 4B, a unit that had become something of an urban legend, notorious among locals. It was said that no tenant ever stayed longer than a few weeks, their lives punctuated by inexplicable restlessness. Daniel was the latest brave soul to step into its shadowy embrace. Young and eager, he had been searching for an affordable place to live, his dreams of financial independence almost tangible. When the landlord offered him the unit at a price too good to be true, Daniel's excitement eclipsed any uneasiness that may have tugged at his mind. "Why so cheap?" he had asked, curiosity flaring in his eyes. The landlord's smile was enigmatic, a fading echo of warmth, as he replied, "It's just hard to keep people there. But you'll be fine." Daniel shrugged off the warning like an old coat, heavy but familiar, and signed the papers, the ink barely dry before he moved in. The space felt ordinary enough at first, a bit dusty, a bit cold, but quiet, too quiet. As night fell on his first day, the city's symphony transformed into a haunting melody. Daniel lay in bed, listening to the eerie silence, when he heard it, a soft, echoing sound of footsteps above. But there was no apartment above him, only the roof. The following night, the whispers began, seeping through the thin walls like smoke. He pressed his ear against the plaster, desperate to decipher the hushed tones. But all he caught were disjointed phrases, like an unfinished thought. Rationality fought against the chill creeping up his spine. Maybe it was the wind, or perhaps his mind playing tricks. But on the third night, he woke up to a voice calling his name, soft and almost tender, echoing from the empty living room. "Daniel." His heart raced, thrumming violently in his chest as he flicked on the lights, illuminating the space around him. The room was empty, shadows dancing innocently at the edges of his vision. By the end of the week, sleep became a distant memory. Daniel felt eyes upon him, an unseen presence that skulked in the corners, waiting. As he moved from the kitchen to his bedroom, the shadows seemed to stretch and reach, as if they knew him, as if they were hungry for his fear. Desperate for distraction, he invited his friend Sarah over one evening. They sank into the couch, attempting light-hearted conversation, but her furrowed brow worried him. "Do you hear that?" she whispered, her voice barely above a murmur. Daniel froze, his blood running cold. She could hear the whispers, too. By the 10th day, the walls felt like they were closing in. Panic surged through him as he packed his bags under the cover of night, his heart racing in his ears. He couldn't stay in apartment 4B any longer, not for another moment. As he slipped out of the building, the night seemed to exhale a sigh of relief, welcoming his departure. The next morning, the landlord, with a knowing glint in his eye, placed a new sign in the window. "Available for rent, Unit 4B."